Next up, in Nepal, a government-appointed commission has submitted its report into the violent protests that erupted in September last year. The probe panel handed over its findings to the government in Kathmandu after months of investigation into the unrest and circumstances that led to clashes between protesters and security forces. The commission was tasked with examining the causes of the demonstrations, the role of security personnel, and the events that resulted in casualties and property damage during the protests. Authorities say the report will now be reviewed by the government, which is expected to study its recommendations before deciding on any further action. The September protests had sparked political tensions in the country, with opposition groups demanding accountability and a thorough investigation into the incidents. Let's listen in to what the Nepalese Prime Minister has shared on this.
केही मिति तिथि बढाउँदै लान पनि पर्यो र आज निर्वाचन पछि त्यसको 1-2 दिन पछि चाहिँ आज यो प्रतिवेदन प्रस्तुत भएको चाहिँ छ। यसको कार्यान्वयनमा त अब हामी त्यो समयसम्म हामी त रहँदैनौं, किनभने हामीले अब तुरुन्तै नयाँ सरकारलाई हस्तान्तरण गरेर जानुपर्ने अवस्था भएको हुनाले पछि सरकारले कार्यान्वयनको लागि त्यसको अध्ययन गरेर कार्यान्वयन गर्नेछ भन्ने मलाई चाहिँ विश्वास छ। एक प्रकारले म र गृहमन्त्रीज्यू हामी अध्ययन गर्छौं र यसलाई चाहिँ हामीले फेरि सबै मन्त्रीज्यूहरू समक्ष राख्नु पर्यो। क्याबिनेटमा हामी प्रस्तुत गर्छौं। क्याबिनेटमा प्रस्तुत गरिसकेपछि चाहिँ हामी त्यसलाई वर्षक रिलिज गर्नेतिर तुरुन्तै रिलिज गर्नेतिर जान्छौं।
Joining us live to tell us more now is Shruti Dasgupta, International Affairs Analyst from New Delhi. Ma'am, we touched on this last week. Balendra Shah in Nepal is essentially heading for victory now. These are the developments. Do you believe that with his power and influence, he'll be able to essentially wipe out any further protests in the country? And also, what do you believe his tenure and longevity will look like, please?
Well, he's very young and he's very popular, so he has a long road ahead of him in politics. Whether he is able to meet with the demands of the people is something we'll have to see. Being a mayor of a city is different than being a prime minister, where you have to balance out international geopolitical play and as well as ensure growth for your own people. So in that particular aspect, he has no experience as of now. His popularity lies in the fact that he was the face of the revolution. I hope that at the end of this report, which is then passed in the cabinet, and then a conclusion is put out. When he comes to power, when he takes oath, he will act on it honorably rather than in a youthful, vicious manner, which tends to be a problem with young leaders. They want to show power on the very first move. I would prefer him to be guided by more sane voices rather than just the passion of the youth. And he would ensure justice is served without actually being very vicious or violent about it. That would, how he reacts to this particular report and the deaths, it will show whether he has attained any level of maturity in terms of political understanding of any specifically such an explosive situation or any situation in the future. What I see is that because Nepal has a young population, which is, I think we spoke about 50% of it is, more than 50% of it is under the age of 40. And 40% of its voters this time were the people in their youth. So there is a reason that they chose somebody younger rather than somebody who's older. They probably want to be able to connect with their leader on a more understandable basis, and not somebody who's stuck in past glory or past mistakes either. So hopefully Balendra Shah would be able to balance everything out for the benefit of Nepal and its people. I do not know whether he would be a good leader, but at least with the right kind of guidance, and if he's open to suggestions by his people, his party, maybe it would turn out to be a good thing for Nepal.
We'll speak soon, ma'am. Thank you for your time. That's all we have time for. Keep watching NewsX World for more news updates from around the world.